Ladies and gentlemen, if you want to transform your life, it begins with managing your mind. It doesn't matter how intelligent you are, how skilled you may be, or how much potential you believe you have. If you can't manage your thoughts, you'll constantly feel overwhelmed, anxious, and reactive. Here's the reality. Your mind is the command center behind everything, every action, every word, every choice. It all starts with a thought. Yet many people let their minds operate on autopilot. They're not leading, they're simply responding to emotions, to fear, to opinions, to social media, and to past experiences. It's like handing over the controls of a high-speed vehicle to a child. Disorder is inevitable. You need to recognize that your brain is designed for survival, not achievement. It's constantly alert for risk, rejection, or failure. That's why it talks you out of taking risks. It's why you hit snooze, delay tasks, doubt your abilities, or play small. This doesn't mean you're lacking strength. It means your brain is trying to shield you. But here's the encouraging part. Just because that's your default wiring doesn't mean it's your final outcome. You have the ability to retrain your thoughts. And when you do, real change begins. You move from hesitation to action, from self-doubt to clarity, from repeating old mistakes to writing a new narrative. And it begins with awareness. You can't shift what you're unaware of. The first step is noticing those outdated thought patterns. When you catch yourself thinking, I can't handle this, or I'm not enough, or I always fail, pause. That's not truth. That's a narrative. And just because it's been on repeat doesn't make it real. You must question your thoughts, the way you would question a friend who keeps misleading you. Begin to replace those thoughts with accuracy, not blind optimism, truth. Like I've overcome challenges before, I can do it again, or I don't need to be flawless, I just need to keep moving. Even if you don't feel ready, you are capable. This isn't about ignoring problems or pretending everything's fine. It's about taking control, because when your mindset is aligned, so is your life. You stop looking for shortcuts and start laying real groundwork. You stop merely responding to circumstances and start shaping them. And this isn't a one-time fix. It's ongoing effort. You train your mind like you train your body. Daily practice, mental discipline. Just as physical exercise builds strength, consistent habits like meditation, journaling, and goal visualization strengthen your mental focus. These aren't soft practices. They are essential tools for rewiring thought patterns. When your thinking is clear, your direction becomes clear. When your mindset is strong, the noise of fear, doubt, and distraction begins to fade. You'll begin to notice something powerful. You start trusting yourself again. You begin to show up with more confidence. You stop chasing approval and start living with intention. And even when things don't go as planned, and they won't, you won't spiral. You'll reset, learn, and keep going. Gaining control over your mind doesn't mean you'll never feel fear. It means moving forward despite it. It means recognizing fear without letting it lead. It means saying, yes, this feels uncertain, but my goals matter more than my fears. That kind of strength, built from within, is steady and lasting. So don't wait until everything feels right to start taking control of your thoughts. Begin now. Begin with one clear thought. Begin with 5 seconds of courage. The moment you decide to guide your thinking rather than let it run unchecked. That's the moment change begins. And this isn't just motivation. It's a strategy. Success isn't about chance. It's about being deliberate. Every day, in every moment, choose thoughts that support the future you want. Choose thoughts that move you forward. Choose thoughts that remind you of your value and ability. If you want to succeed, begin here. Take control of your mind, and the rest will follow. Your words aren't just noise. They're tools, they're instructions. They are blueprints for the life you're building. What you say, you begin to believe. And what you believe, you start to become. That's why learning to manage your speech is one of the most important skills you can develop. Many people speak without thinking. They react emotionally, out of habit or fear. They say things like, "I'm not good at that," "I'll never afford that," or "that's just not who I am," not realizing they're setting limits on themselves. Every time you speak, you're sending a message. The question is, what message are you sending? If you constantly speak about what's wrong, you stay focused on the problem. When you keep saying you're broke, your brain begins to fixate on lack instead of possibility. When you casually call yourself lazy or a procrastinator, your subconscious accepts that identity and keeps you in that loop. Your words are either pushing you ahead or holding you back, and often, people don't even realize they're doing it. They don't realize their everyday language is shaping their mindset. They don't understand that once words are spoken, they influence how the brain responds. Think about it. How often have you talked yourself out of something before even starting? How often have you said, "I don't have what it takes," or "that's just not me"? That wasn't truth. That was fear speaking. And the more you let that voice speak, the stronger it becomes. Your words carry energy. They either support growth or block it. The way you speak has power. It's not enough to think differently. You also have to speak with intention. When you say something out loud, you begin to build alignment between your words and your actions. Saying, "I'm showing up for myself," prompts behavior that reflects that commitment. Saying, "I finish what I start," encourages follow through. On the other hand, when you say, "I'm bad at this," your mind takes it as truth and searches for ways to confirm it. Your words create a standard, so it's essential that they support your growth, not limit it. Speaking with purpose doesn't mean pretending everything is fine. It means choosing words that reflect resilience and direction. You can acknowledge difficulty without giving up your power. For example, saying, "This is hard, but I'm working through it," builds confidence instead of doubt. Speaking from emotion is human, but speaking with intention is strategic. There's a line between expressing feelings and reinforcing limitations, and crossing that line often goes unnoticed. Even the language we use casually, sarcastic remarks, self-deprecating jokes, or negative labels has impact. Phrases like, "I'm so lazy," or "I always mess this up," seem minor but gradually shape how you see yourself. Over time, they reinforce a story of inadequacy. But that story can be rewritten. You have the ability to shift your self-talk. Choosing words that reflect who you're becoming, not who you've been, helps reshape your identity in meaningful ways. This kind of intentional speech is not about fake positivity. It's about building a foundation that supports change. Replacing "I can't" with "I'm learning," or "I'm stuck" with "I'm growing," sends a powerful message to your mind. What you say to yourself in quiet moments matters most. That's where confidence is built and habits take root. When you start choosing your words consciously, your mindset, your actions, and your results begin to align. Ultimately, the conversation you have with yourself determines the direction of your life. Your words either create momentum or stop it. They either support your goals or hold you back. Controlling your speech is one of the most effective ways to reclaim your power. This applies to every area of life, including your relationship with money, which is often shaped more by emotion than logic. Change starts with awareness, and awareness begins with the words you choose every day. Mindset plays a central role in your financial life. If you don't learn to control your money, it will end up controlling you. But here's the truth. Managing money isn't really about the money itself. It's about self-discipline, emotional awareness, and having a clear sense of direction. It requires you to delay gratification, make long-term decisions, and resist reacting to every impulse. Many people assume they're struggling financially because they don't earn enough. But in most cases, that's not the core issue. The reality is, if you can't manage a small amount, you won't suddenly become disciplined when you have more. Money doesn't solve money problems. It reveals them. If you constantly spend everything you earn, the problem isn't income, it's behavior, and behavior stems from belief. Ask yourself, What do you believe about money? Do you see it as limited? Do you feel guilt around having it? Is it a resource or a burden? These beliefs often come from past experiences. You might have grown up seeing financial stress or unhealthy spending habits. These patterns don't just disappear with age or income. They continue unless you consciously choose to change them. That change begins with awareness. You can't improve what you avoid. Taking control of your money means facing it, looking at your statements, tracking your spending, creating a budget, not as a form of restriction, but as a way to build freedom. When you know where your money is going, you begin to make informed choices. You stop guessing, stop repeating the same cycles, and start making decisions that align with your goals. This is how you move from reacting to leading. It starts with honesty. This is where I am. This is what I spend. And here's what needs to shift. Financial control also means emotional control. How often have you made a purchase just to feel better, to celebrate, or to escape stress? That temporary high from spending may feel good in the moment, but if it doesn't support your bigger goals, it's not helping you. It's harming your progress. There's a difference between comfort and sabotage. Real financial growth means learning to pause, reflect, and ask, do I truly need this? Is this moving me forward or setting me back? Mistakes are part of the process. Each one is a chance to learn and build resilience. Finally, it's time to shift how you view money. It's not the enemy. It's not something reserved for a lucky few. Money is a tool, one that when managed wisely, creates options, supports growth, and fuels your purpose. It gives you the ability to invest in your future and live with intention. Financial discipline isn't about perfection. It's about progress. It's about using your resources thoughtfully, so you're no longer limited by circumstance, but empowered by choice. True financial freedom begins when you stop chasing money based on emotion and start managing it with intention. This means building savings, paying off debt, and investing, even in small amounts. It means setting goals not just for purchases, but for the kind of life you want to create. A life where you're not dependent on every paycheck, where unexpected expenses don't throw you off course, and where you're making choices based on values, not fear, not credit cards, not bills. Taking control of your finances doesn't mean you stop enjoying life. It means you plan for enjoyment. You create space in your budget for fun, so you can experience the present without sacrificing your progress. That's real power. Being able to enjoy today while still building a better tomorrow. That's what financial balance looks like. And if you've been telling yourself that you're just bad with money, remind yourself, that's not your identity, it's a habit. And habits can be changed. You're capable of learning, improving, and taking ownership of your finance. It's not about perfection. It's about making intentional choices, one at a time, because in the end, money reflects how you manage your decisions. The more consistent your choices, the better your outcomes. It won't happen instantly, but progress adds up. That's how wealth grows. That's how peace of mind develops. That's how freedom is built through steady, focused effort. When you take control of your money, you begin to take control of your future. But none of that can happen if you're always waiting to feel ready. Most people wait for motivation or confidence to act. The truth is, those feelings are unreliable. If you let your emotions dictate your actions, you'll always find a reason to pause. You won't always feel brave, capable, or energized. And that's okay. Emotions are not commands. They are signals. They give you information, but they shouldn't decide your direction. Emotional control doesn't mean ignoring your feelings. It means understanding them and moving forward anyway. Like weather, emotions, some days are calm, others are challenging, but you don't cancel your plans because it's raining. Likewise, you don't abandon your goals because you feel tired or unsure. Success doesn't come from feeling inspired all the time. It comes from learning to act, despite discomfort. That's what emotional strength looks like. Doing the work even when it's difficult, and staying committed even when it's uncomfortable. Emotional control isn't denial, it's discipline. You can feel fear and still take action. You can be uncertain and still make a decision. You can be tired and still give your best. This is the difference between those who wish for change and those who create it. People who wait for their emotions to align with their goals often stay stuck. Those who move forward understand that emotions are not in charge. They've learned to treat emotions as information, not instructions. Feeling fear, for example, is your brain's way of trying to protect you. It doesn't mean stop. It means move forward with awareness. When you feel resistance, it usually means you're doing something meaningful. Resistance is often a signal that you're growing. Doubt is natural when you're stepping into something new. It's not a reason to back down. It's a sign to keep going. Emotional control is a skill, and like any other skill, it takes practice. It starts by observing your emotional state. You pause and ask, what am I feeling? Why am I feeling this? Is it coming from truth or fear? From there you decide how to respond. One step at a time. That's how you begin to take back control. Learning to lead yourself means no longer letting feelings dictate your choice. This is especially important when things don't go as planned, because they won't always. You will face setbacks, you will feel discouraged, and when those moments come, your emotions may urge you to quit. But if you've trained yourself to respond instead of react, you won't give up. You'll adapt, not because it feels easy, but because you've chosen to prioritize your future over your current mood. Emotional control doesn't mean suppressing your feelings or pretending everything's fine. It means making space to feel without letting those feelings determine your actions. You can feel overwhelmed and still take a step forward. You can be unsure and still show up. You can be scared and still act with courage. That's the reality of growth. Courage isn't the absence of fear. It's moving forward in spite of it. When you live from that mindset, you become more resilient and more capable. Confidence doesn't come from waiting. It comes from doing. It's built through action, especially when you feel unprepared. Each time you act, despite discomfort, you show yourself what you're capable of. The more you do, the more your emotions begin to follow your lead. This is your life. You, not your fear, not your doubt. Decide how it unfolds. When you stop letting temporary emotions make permanent decisions, you step into real strength. That's how you build confidence, clarity, and momentum that lasts. Discipline creates freedom. Many people view discipline as something harsh or restrictive, as if it removes joy from life. But that misunderstanding comes from seeing discipline as punishment, rather than what it truly is, a pathway to control, confidence, and choice. Discipline isn't about being perfect or rigid. It's about being consistent with decisions that support the person you want to become. It's about staying aligned with your values, even when it's difficult. Real discipline means showing up when quitting would be easier. It's about keeping the promises you make to yourself, even when no one is watching. You don't need more motivation. You need structure. Motivation is unpredictable. It rises and falls. Discipline, however, is a daily decision. It's the choice to act in line with your goals, even when comfort calls. That consistency is where real power comes from. When you stop waiting to feel ready and start acting anyway, you take ownership of your growth. Successful people don't rely on inspiration. They succeed because they've built routines, stuck to habits, and done the hard, often repetitive work over and over again. They've learned to say no when it matters, to keep going when it's uncomfortable, and to stay focused when it would be easier to give in. That's not luck. It's discipline. If you want lasting change, you need systems that support it. You need to live based on decisions, not emotions. Get up early, avoid distractions, follow through, not because it's easy, but because it's necessary. There will be hard days, days when it feels like nothing is working, days when your old habits seem easier. In those moments, discipline defines you. Anyone can follow through when it's convenient, but when it's hard and you still show up, that's when you grow. That's when you separate yourself from the average. Most people give up in those moments, but not you. You stay committed, and every time you do, you reinforce the belief that you are someone who follows through. That builds trust with yourself, and self-trust is the foundation of resilience and confidence. The key is to start small. Don't try to change everything overnight. Build discipline one decision at a time, one habit, one action, one step. Perfection isn't required. What matters is consistency. The more you follow through, the easier it becomes. And over time, those choices shape your identity. You become someone who takes action, keeps promises, and creates momentum. That's how you rewire your mind for success, through steady effort that compounds over time. As you practice discipline, your brain begins to adjust, your expectations rise, and what once felt challenging becomes routine. That's the real benefit of discipline. It creates a new baseline for your life, and it's important to understand. Discipline isn't punishment, it's an act of self-respect. It's a way of saying, I value myself enough to do what's necessary today, so I can live how I choose tomorrow. It's about taking control of your time, your actions, and your energy. It's choosing not to settle for distraction or mediocrity. Discipline makes space for your growth. It safeguards your goals and allows your potential to take root. So instead of waiting to feel ready or chasing motivation, choose consistency. Choose the harder path today to experience freedom, pride, and power tomorrow. When you build discipline, you stop being ruled by your moods and start rising with your purpose. Discomfort no longer causes you to shrink. You grow through it. You stop talking about change and begin living. That's how real success is built. Not through sudden inspiration or dramatic change, but through consistent habits and daily follow-through. Show up, do the work, keep your word. That's what moves you forward. But your habits don't develop in isolation. They're influenced by your environment, the people you're around, the content you consume, the behaviors you normalize. These either support your growth or slow it down. Even with clear goals, a toxic or distracting environment will make progress harder than it needs to be. Your environment is more than your surrounding. It's what you allow, what you engage with, and what you accept. That includes your mental, emotional, and physical space. You can't grow in chaos or stay focused in an environment full of conflict, clutter, or negativity. You need peace. You need space to think clearly and move with intention. Sometimes that requires making difficult decisions. It may involve creating distance from people or habits that no longer align with where you're going. It might mean avoiding unproductive conversations or stepping back from distractions that drain your time and energy. It could be as simple as creating a cleaner space or turning your focus inward. This isn't about thinking you're better than others. It's about doing what's best for your own development. Your energy is limited. Protect it. Direct it where it matters, because how you manage your space and your focus determines how far you go and how well you grow. Surrounding yourself with the right people matters. You need to be around those who challenge you to grow, who motivate you to stay focused, and who are actively building something, not just talking about it. And if you don't have that in your immediate circle yet, you can still create it. Build a digital environment that supports your growth. Listen to podcasts that expand your perspective. Watch videos that teach valuable skills, and read books that encourage your progress. Follow people online who reflect the kind of life and mindset you're aiming for. Curate your social media feed to be a source of inspiration, not comparison. But don't stop at consuming. Apply what you learn. Let it push you into action. Your physical environment matters too. You don't need a large space to create a productive atmosphere. Start by cleaning your room, organizing your workspace, and making your surroundings reflect your goal. Even small changes can have a big impact. Design a space that signals progress. Put up reminders of your goals. Write down your vision and keep it where you can see it. Remove distractions, even if it means moving your phone to another room while you work. Your environment should support your direction, but don't forget the inner environment. Your thoughts, your beliefs, your personal standards. These are the foundation of everything. You have to learn to motivate yourself, catch negativity before it grows, and replace doubt with focus. Affirm your progress, even when it feels slow. Encourage your growth, especially when it's difficult. Set boundaries, not only with others, but also with yourself. Your daily habits are part of your environment too. Are your routines helping you move forward, or keeping you stuck? You don't rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems. And those systems are shaped by the environment you create. Reflect on what surrounds you and ask, is this helping me grow, or holding me back? If the answer isn't clear, then it's time to make a change. Start small. Shift one habit. Upgrade one area of your space. Remove one unhelpful input, or add one new source of motivation. These small changes add up. Over time, your environment becomes a reflection of your growth. You become sharper, more focused, and more energized. You start thinking differently, acting with more clarity, and living with more intention. That's the power of your environment. It doesn't just shape your outcomes, it shapes who you become. So build it with purpose. Growth is not accidental, it's designed. Success isn't about luck, magic, or being chosen. It's built through consistent decisions, habits, and mindset shifts over time. There's a formula simple in concept, but demanding in execution. Control your mind, your words, and your money. These three areas are the foundation. When you learn to manage them, you stop living reactively and start creating your life with intention. Your mind is the control center. Every choice begins with a thought. If your mindset is cluttered, negative, or unfocused, it will affect every part of your life. That's why working on your mindset is essential, not optional. You need to train your thoughts like you train your body, by identifying the patterns, limiting beliefs, and fears that keep you stuck. Because what you consistently think, you begin to create. A limited mindset leads to a limited life. But when you take control of your thoughts, focus on solutions, and challenge old assumptions, you unlock new levels of potential. Your words also matter. What you say shapes what you believe, and what you believe shapes how you act. Speaking from fear or doubt reinforces hesitation. Saying things like "I can't" or "I'm not ready" slowly creates a belief system that keeps you stuck. But when you speak with clarity, courage, and purpose, your mindset begins to shift. Sip out your goals as if they are already in progress. Use words that reflect your vision, not your fears. Your language should support where you're going, not keep you where you are. Then there's money. Many people struggle here because they've been taught to react emotionally to money instead of managing it strategically. But money is just a tool, and like any tool, it works best with direction. You don't need extreme wealth to feel in control. You need clarity, consistency, and discipline. Budgeting, saving, and investing may seem simple, but they create long-term stability and freedom. When you manage your money well, you reduce stress, not just financially but emotionally, and you gain the ability to plan for your future instead of reacting to your present. When you put these pieces together, mind, mouth, money, you create a system of self-leadership. You no longer rely on motivation or wait for external change. You take responsibility. You stop talking about what could be and start building it. And it's important to remember, this isn't something you do once. It's a lifestyle. These practices compound over time. They're the daily actions that build momentum, shape your identity, and lead to real lasting success. This is not a one-time fix. It's a lifestyle, a continuous practice. Some days you'll stay on track. Other days you'll fall short. That's normal. The goal isn't perfection, it's progress. Each time you replace a limiting belief with a more constructive one, you begin to shift your thinking. Each time you speak with purpose instead of doubt, you reinforce self-confidence. Each smart financial decision, no matter how small, helps build a stronger foundation for your future. The results won't always be immediate, but with consistency, they become inevitable. Success isn't built on bursts of motivation. It's built through steady repetition. It's the daily habit of leading your thoughts, choosing your words, and managing your resources with purpose. You don't need to wait for the perfect moment, or for someone else's approval. You just need to start where you are, use what you have, and stay consistent. You are stronger than you realize. You are capable, even when it doesn't feel that way. But your future will be shaped by the choices you make today. That's why taking responsibility is so important. Let go of blame, stop waiting for the right time, and focus on what you can control. And the truth is, your mind, your words, and your financial decisions are always within your control. That's where your strength lies. That's the advantage. When you master these three areas, your thoughts, your speech, and your money, you gain leverage over your own life. You no longer feel like life is happening to you. You begin to shape it with intention. You don't need more time or more permission. What you need is a clear plan, and this is it. Take control of your mindset, speak with clarity and leadership, and manage your finances like your future depends on it. Because it truly does. This is how you break old patterns. This is how you build lasting change. And this is how you create a life that reflects your values and potential. The formula is simple. The work is daily, and the outcome is real transformation. Keep showing up, keep doing the work, and over time, your consistent effort will become your greatest advantage.